Hey folks, Studio here. So I would just like to make a couple of quick announcements before we dive into today's replay. I'll put some YouTube things so people can skip straight to it. But first of all, I am still looking for replays of shred teams. Shred teams are teams of 5 people who can all reduce armor or MR. They don't have to deal that damage, so you could have Kog'Maw, for example, who reduces both armor and magic resistance with his Q. He could build physical if the rest of the team shreds MR. He could build magical if the rest of the team shreds armor. Doesn't matter, I just want everyone to have this shred capability. And aside from that, I just want to say thanks. So I've been doing this for about 22 days, but we're in a different month, and I just want to say thanks to everyone who's been cool, everyone who's been mean. Just because the cool guys gave criticism, the mean guys gave criticism, you guys have helped me get better. And I'll probably do a longer video thanking y'all, but I just want to say you, the Reddit user, the Something Awful poster, the guy who got linked a sexy studio on his Facebook, thank you. And the guy who linked me too, or you too, I guess. But just thank you for supporting me. So today's replay is a Rumble game. Rumble has a very special place in my heart, and I like them, and I kind of like this replay. It's very distinct. It's at the 1600 Elo bracket. And, well, let's just hop right in. So first things first, let's go ahead and look at who's playing who. Calculus on Rumble with Flash and Teleport. Super Careful 7 on Ashe with Heal and Flash. Quality Player on Veigar with Ignite Flash. Orange version 2 with Smite Flash. OX AK-47X0 on Nidalee with Exhaust Flash. Support Nidalee, actually. IR has a summon with Flash Ignite on Kennen. Brad B321 with Flash Ignite on TF. Mercurius 360 with Heal CV. Meatjin with Exhaust Smite. And Southernly on Graves with Flash Heal. A very appropriate names for a Graves player. So, well, I guess Wild West isn't in the South. But anyways, that's beside the point. Something you can do is buy a potion from the shop before minions have spawned, or after minions have spawned, but before they get too far in the lane where you can't catch up for CS. You can do this with boots only. Now, Rumble is doing it from a very far out spot. Look how far he is. And he has 4 pots and he's going to base, or going to lane. That's really cool because I did not know you could do that from super far out. Now, this lane's going to start out pretty badly for Calculus. He forgot to bind his E to Smartcast, so he can't actually launch his harpoons out. Oops. So, Kennen versus Rumble is a matchup that some people say Rumble wins, some people say Kennen wins. The truth is, it's a very skill-based matchup. Kennen can poke Rumble to all hell and back, and Rumble can just burn Kennen with his flamethrower. So, if it's a sustained fight, Rumble will just kind of win. If it's a poke fight, Kennen has it. Calculus is going to do a few big things that make the lane kind of different, but I'll approach them as they pop up. First of all, Kennen's going to push in. This just happened naturally because Rumble missed some CS. But what's going to happen is, once the tower is attacking creeps, Rumble's really bad at last hitting under the tower. Flamethrower is super unreliable. It does very low damage before level 4. Because at level 1, it's 7 damage to creeps, which is pretty awful. And by putting him in this position where he's at the tower and can't CS, it's just an early way to harass until Kennen gets a few more levels and a bit better poke. The disadvantage is Kennen's out of position and can be ganked, but Kennen's hard to gank, and Shyvana is mid right now. So he knows he's safe. Now, something to watch out for is tanking creeps. Look how much damage Rumble is taking right now. Down to 550. It's a lot. And this happens when you auto-attack. And there is no other target besides the tower. The creeps will sometimes aggro onto you, and the damage you take can be massive. You just have to be very careful. You have to back in and out quite a bit. You just need to make sure you don't take too much damage. And Kennen saw that Rumble took a lot of damage. He's now pressuring him quite a bit. Rumble's in a very bad position because he missed a lot of early CS. He missed some tower CS. And Kennen has full HP. Well, he's at half. And Kennen has Ignite. Luckily, Shy is going to gank. Kennen was just too far forward after having not seen Shyvana for a while. If you want to try and be a little safer, you could be to the side in the lane. But it just makes you a little harder to catch early on. They will still, catch up to you eventually because of how angles work. Being forward in the lane is always risky. Do it if you know you can escape, which this Kennen did. It was not a bad move to be up there. Just risky. So what Rumble is doing, and I don't like this, is he's maxing out his E. He's doing this because he doesn't want to play a poke war against Kennen and just have Kennen win. Rumble's E can do a lot of damage, but the problem is it's not easy to land. I mean, he just missed 2 right there. And he no longer has an answer for Kennen's harass. Once Kennen was in Rumble, Rumble should have done about 150 damage from like the second and a half of flamethrowing. That would have been on him. But he was scared of Kennen. He was scared of his poke, and because he got scared, he went ahead and skilled up the wrong skill. Now the E is a safe skill for level 1 because Q does not do a lot of damage. That flamethrower kind of tickles. But now, I mean, okay, he landed a harpoon. Kennen was still able to dodge the second. And that really doesn't stop Kennen's poke. They're not going to trade. Kennen just has better poke than Rumble because he has some of the best poke in the game. Rumble also kind of underestimates Kennen's damage. So someone like Kennen wants to poke you a lot. Then they want to kind of dive you for a finish. So a lot of people forget that second part. I mean, Rumble was low, not killable, but then he got hit by that stun. And he just got murdered for it. He might have been able to survive or at least blow Kennen's flash if he'd flashed a half second earlier and not gotten hit by the E, but overall that was just underestimation of Kennen's damage. Never underestimate people's damage. Always assume that people will do whatever they can to kill you. And if they have a lot of damage, they can bust it out. There's no reason for them not to. Also, Rumble should have teleported back here. You want to save teleport for when you're helping out the team, or when you're in a bad situation and you need all the help you can get in lane. Right there, that was bad for Rumble because there was like 6 creeps or 7 or 8 creeps that died at the tower. And he needs that CS. He needs those kills and that gold because Kennen's about to hit level 7. He's not quite there. He has more CS and he has a kill on him. That's huge. That's significant. And Rumble doesn't have an answer for Kennen. Right there, Rumble could have done some damage, probably not killed him. But instead, Kennen was able to just swing on by. He has a revolver. He has sustain. He just has the advantage. And Rumble's going to make that same mistake he did again. He's just going to underestimate the damage. But he's going to do it with a twist. So sometimes as Rumble or some characters, you want to blow a skill to clear a creep wave. Like Aurelia, for example. Aurelia, you blow her ult, clear a creep wave if you want to go back to base or if you just want to sustain a bit. Now, the difference is if Aurelia blows her ult, you can not kill her because she got some HP back. Rumble there, he blows his ult, he doesn't have a response to Kennen's anything. His one saving grace was gone, and he did it in a position where Kennen could take advantage of it. If you want to do something like that, where you just blow a long defensive cooldown spell, Vladimir's Pool, for example, if you want to use that to finish off a CS, don't do it in a position where the enemy team can kill you. Also, that this teleport was very, very weak. He's going to get a bit more CF, but Kennen's already back. He's already at the tower. And he got like 5 CS from that he wouldn't have gotten from walking. Which is big, but not a lot. I also like what he does now. So, he knows that he was not going to do well in lane. He knows Kennen can just kill him. So he roams a bit. He goes across the map. He tries to kill Twisted Fate. He isn't successful, and Kennen actually does an awesome play by going into that bush, because Rumble now has to go around. But he tried something. He didn't just let Kennen keep killing him. He's going to get some CS at the tower. It's nice, but, when you're behind and the opponent takes advantage of it, there's not a whole lot you can do sometimes. So Kennen, he's going to go for a gank. Veigar was pinged, but Veigar made a mistake where he assumed they were only going to send Kennen. Even though TF sent out a blue card, Lee Sin still showed up and killed him. So, I think a million people have done this before, where they will just go, oh yeah, they're ganking with one guy, I can survive that. They can bring other guys too. They don't need to just send Kennen, they can bring Lee. So Rumble is helping his team out here. This is big because A, this is a chance for him to be in a non-laning situation, and B, he cannot let his team fall behind because of him. He does not want to be the weak link. It just isn't fun. So that was a great play on his part, and a mistake from Kennen's part. Kennen could have helped out there. They wouldn't have killed Shyvana, but he would have been able to respond to Rumble a bit. But because he played so passively and to stay in the lane and try to keep laning, well, they lose TF and they lose Lee Sin for nothing. For a bit of time that Ashe has not spent CSing, but Ashe is already doing very well. She got first blood on Graves. She's kicking some ass. Kicking some Ashe, if you will. I'll never do that again. I'm so sorry. So right here, they push up a bit. They decide not to focus on the tower because they'll miss too much CS. Good decisions all around. But when is it a good idea to help out your team? And the answer is, well, A, if you don't help out, will your team lose something important? Like, if you don't help your jungler who's being ganked in the jungle, will he die and be awful because he can't jungle well? If the answer is yes, go help him. B, what will you lose by going down there? So Rumble would have lost maybe some CS, Ken would have lost a bit of CS, nothing huge, so it was a good idea. If you'll miss like 20 CS from just the opponent pushing and a massive built-up wave, maybe it's not the best idea to try and secure that kill that you may not get. And of course, if it's a guaranteed kill that you'll get because they blew all their escapes and your Rumble and you're just going to finish them off, yeah, go for it. Finish them off. Now, Kennen goes for another mid gank. Shyvana saw him coming through that amazing wardage, and he barely gets out. That was a great flash from Kennen. That was a great shield from Lee Sin, and a great kick from Lee Sin. But Kennen's still really low. So, when you're grouped up like this and you have one opponent who's low, just go take an objective. I mean, if they have someone who's super duper fed, who can just murder all of you, be careful about it. But like, what was Kennen going to do if they got into a team fight? Ult them? He had no HP. Lee Sin went for a steal. It was risky on his part, and I don't recommend steals very much, but, well, he tried. Actually, just a quick comment on stealing buffs like that, or Baron and Dragon. So, you want to steal it if you know you can do it. So if you're rushing to get in position and you're just going to get there last second, it's probably not a good idea to actually go in there. But the problem is, if you die and you don't get the kill, not only have you given them Dragon, they now also got a kill out of that. They're now farther ahead. Also, sometimes it doesn't really matter if you get, like, it's actually worse just to die. This will happen late game. A team might get Baron and sacrifice Lee Sin for it, for example, but they might need Lee Sin to not get pushed to hell and die even with Baron buff. So my recommendation is actually don't steal very much unless you're behind and you need it. So anyhow, this is good use of teleport. Teleporting to the team fight, teleporting to the guys that need your help. Now what's going to suck is they're going to lose top tower. But they killed Graves. Rumble is getting quite a few items. He's getting very scary. And they should be able to push this tower. They should be able to do something here. Now the problem with solo queue is people tend to split up very, very quickly. So they don't get a whole lot accomplished in the end. But this would be a great time to take that tower. This would be a great time just to do something. Ashe is going to defend top. They might lose the tower, but Ashe will keep the farm and they won't lose the second tower. But Shyvana jungles, Nidalee jungles, Veigar is not jungling, sadly, but they do get the tower at least. It just takes them forever. Now, what do you do in a case like this? I mean, your bot lane, they're kind of spread out. Like, how do you fight here? Well, they're behind. Actually, I have no idea how gold is split right now. They have 2 towers down, but they have 1 down themselves. Essentially, if you don't know how you're doing, you just want to catch the enemy in a bad position. But they don't have any wards, so they can't catch the enemy. So what's going to happen is the enemy team is just going to push. They kept staying spread out, so they don't have an answer for it. Rumble can't side push too well because he doesn't really do a lot of damage to towers. And Nidalee's going to get caught during the flank. So this happens a lot where one team will flank the other. Like let's say purple team pushing the tower, blue side tries to flank. Purple side will kill the tower, then kill whoever was flanking from blue side. I see this happen all the time. When you flank, make sure you can get there in time, and if you can't, back off. There's nothing wrong with backing off in this game. People play like it's very, very all in. Like for example, right here, Veigar goes for a kill. There's no reason for Rumble and Ashe to keep going right now, because this is the worst situation ever. Oh my god, they are dead. If an ally does something stupid and gets killed for it, don't get killed for it yourself. Sometimes you cannot avoid it. If it's like that late game thing and it's just like, oh no, the carry's caught, we gotta save him. You can't escape it sometimes. But you know what? If your ally is doing something dumb and getting killed, and if you help him, you'll probably just get killed without doing anything, let him die. Anyhow, this has been it for part 1. Let's jump into part 2.